Anti-Afro Svengalis. Yes, we are on here to talk about a very important issue. We are revisiting the threats that Umar Johnson made towards me, other anti-fraud warriors, and affiliates. And when I say threats, I want to make sure it's clear, not just Umar Johnson directly threatening us, what he embodies based on what he represents. And this is important because Umar relies on false narratives existing about other people. That way, he thinks he can get your position, however strong it is, compromised. He can convince people that you are what he claims you to be, not what you really are. Case in point, when Umar goes on and on and on, and you see the title here about me, anti-Afro Svengalis, and black men, right? You see this. Umar, he was the one that started out by saying I didn't like black men. No, I'm not the one who has an issue with the man who raised me, my father, right? My brothers, my uncles, my cousins. I don't have issues with them. Umar may have issues with his daddy. I don't have issues with my dad. But Umar likes to tell people about themselves, but he's simply telling you his experience. So what Umar Johnson had started out saying, that I hate black men, that turned into, I'm calling the cops on black men. Umar had accused me of calling the cops on all these black men before. So he puts out these statements and hoping upon hope that people will pick up these statements and carry them on. See, that's what Umar aims to do. Put lies out there and hopefully desperate souls, vacant, desolate souls will pick up on these lies and keep running with them. Now, I am here to tell you, because it is beyond hilarious when you hear things like anti-Afro Svengalis is after the black men. And remember, I don't know what I am this week. Am I a white woman this week? Am I a fat Mexican this week? Am I biracial this week? When am I this week? Who knows? According to Umar and all these fools. But here's the thing. The claim is that I have called the police on all these black men. Here is the fact. Never in my life have I ever even thought about, felt the need to call the police on one of my own. Black men. Never, ever. It doesn't matter how knocked down, drag out the disagreements were. No black man has ever put me in a position to make me feel I'd have to call the police on him until I came to YouTube and encountered Umar Johnson's madness. Oh, it would be such a nice world if there was never any reason for me to have called the police in my life. But it doesn't fit Umar's narrative that it was black men I had to call on. Never until Umar. And listen, Umar called the police on a black man. It was the person he says he owed him money. So who's Umar to sit up here and try to say I called the police on all these black men? He called the police. And he's the one talking shit about the police. Yes, it's a free country. He can talk shit all he wants about the cops. I called the cops because I needed the cops before I came to YouTube, and none of them were black men. So Umar Johnson is up here bragging about being, what, 6 foot? He said, I'm 6'3" and 200 and whatever, 70 pounds or whatever he is. Why then is he calling the police on Don? This is the person that was at the abandoned bomb shelter. If he's so big and bad and he was up here threatening SETI and talking about his height, why is he calling the police? You see what I'm saying? We're not supposed to be questioning Umar Johnson when he calls the police on a black man, but he's going to sit here and make up stories about shit he knows nothing about and claiming that I'm calling the cops on all these black men. Again, Umar Johnson was the first black man that I've ever called the police on. So Umar Johnson can kiss my ass. And anyone else out there who runs their mouth and don't know what the hell they're talking about. These are all phony balonies like Umar Johnson. That's why they gravitate towards him. They replicate the same behaviors, even though they don't even give a damn about Umar. They're just like Umar. Doesn't mean they care about him or about anything that's happening. They are just doing the same things he's doing, but in a different light, a different context. The me, the hell with everybody else context, which has nothing behind it. At least Umar Johnson's trying to perp with the school. All the other fools that are followed are just simply like Umar. People who were focused on Umar Johnson and were on a mission to hold him accountable, they drew attention. Most of the attention was positive, to the point where other people became absolutely enraged because they saw or they perceived some benefit that was being garnered from talking about Umar. And in their mind, it was money. They see other people complimenting anti-fraud warriors and affiliates because we have been so dedicated. We've been so focused. We are a talented group of people. I'm going to say it, people. We are unique. We're all different, but we have our own styles. I'm going to toot our horns for us because people are seeking to get the attention that we got for something we felt so strongly about. The desire to disrupt anti-fraud warriors and their affiliates is very strong, but the strategies are just banefully weak. This is what Umar Johnson relies on to try to keep us in line. It hasn't worked, people. We are staying on track. It doesn't matter how much information we have put out about other situations. We have remained on track with Umar. Umar exhibits these same behaviors that we see here. Umar is very impressionable. Let me talk about what happened. When this situation came up recently about the gambling, that's not new. That is not a new situation for Umar. Umar has been known to gamble in the past. So is it becoming so desperate to the point where he believes that he's going to actually score? We are staying on track. It doesn't matter how much information we have put out about other situations. We have remained on track with Umar. Umar exhibits these same behaviors that we see here. Umar is very impressionable. Let me talk about what happened. When this situation came up recently about the gambling, that's not new. That is not a new situation for Umar. Umar has been known to gamble in the past. So is it becoming so desperate to the point where he believes that he's going to actually score because he is not using his critical ability logically? And we know the odds about gambling are not very good. He's going to go into a casino or a little side, whatever you want to call it, and tell us that he's gambling because he needs money for the abandoned bomb shelter. Do you all really believe that? Umar is gambling because he needs money to survive, but he has convinced himself that he can score big just by doing what? Taking money that he has hijacked out of our community and putting it in a slot, and it's going to make everything go away. That's how gamblers think. Umar is not new to the gambling scene. He's just becoming more desperate to the point he's actually recording what he is doing. He continues to give anti-fraud warriors and affiliates a reason to continue on because he's just reverting back to his old behaviors. He went through all of his behaviors, and when they didn't work, he started resorting to threats of violence. Umar knows he has been impacted in so many ways, and I'm going to post another video about the impact that anti-fraud warriors and affiliates have had on Umar. Umar has compromised himself to the point of sheer humiliation. You tell me, what does it mean when you are in an abandoned bomb shelter, and whether or not the lights are on over here or whether the lights are on over there is irrelevant. He's got feces, aka shit, in the toilet stool. And he's walking around telling you that we're going to be opening this school. He has the camera panned down in the toilet where there is feces. He is humiliating himself to the point where he's going to show that on TV or on video and turn around and ask you for donations. He really thinks he has gotten to the point where people are going to sit there and listen to what he says, even when he's talking to you next to a shit-filled toilet or panning the camera in shit-filled toilet. I don't know how much more humiliation you need. How much more humiliation do you need than having to move into an abandoned bomb shelter because you don't have anywhere to go? The contradictions, people, cannot be reconciled. The desperation. Umar is in the immediate moment. He cannot see or act beyond his immediate circumstances. And he uses those circumstances to try to convince black folks that he's still going to open up this school. And it doesn't matter if he gets 4 people to agree, he's going to be able to get some money out of that. To do what? To continue to survive. And it wasn't until Umar went on the Breakfast Club was he feeling any sort of confidence, because we know what happened with the recent child support ruling back in March, right? He had his driver's license revoked. That wasn't going to work because he needed to go to other hyena yelps. He was taking his chances by driving around without a driver's license. Desperate. Umar is desperate to the point where he was going to go up to the abandoned bomb shelter knowing that people were looking for him because he had to record a video. He knows if he records a video and he's not at the abandoned bomb shelter, the chances of getting donations are almost nil. He uses it as a prop, people, and it became even more treacherous and more dangerous because I told you about the people in Wilmington. I need to provide some clarity with that. The people that live in Wilmington have been in Wilmington before Umar even mentioned opening the abandoned bomb shelter in Wilmington. People, please don't think somebody moved to Wilmington, Delaware, for God's sake, because Umar Johnson opened up an abandoned bomb shelter. No, they were already there. They were already living in Wilmington. And they were outraged when Umar made this announcement. So those are the people who have been on the ground. They have made sure that there have been increased drive-bys because of the crap that's been going on. Do they have evidence for a search warrant? No, let's not be, I don't want to say ridiculous, but yes, that would be ridiculous. They don't have any just cause to get a search warrant to go in there. So they are casing the joint. We are headed in a direction where they are getting close to doing an inspection. And Umar would have to comply with that. But the pandemic has put a lot of things on hold. Again, there is no evidence that people, plural, people are living there. Umar is sneaking in and out. We can't possibly think that the Wilmington Police Department is going to keep 24-hour watch on Umar Johnson coming and going. No, they are increasing the drive-bys. And you see Umar getting nervous, getting all antsy. Umar created the situation based on how he has been conducting himself. He has no intention of opening a school. He needs the abandoned bomb shelter for publicity and fundraising. So the time that he's spending out there is becoming shorter and shorter because his head continues to swivel like Reagan from The Exorcist. People are putting on the heat. Thank you to those in Wilmington. Thank you very much. And there are also some people who live nearby, not necessarily in the state of Delaware, but pretty close. We're going over to Wilmington, Delaware, and the abandoned bomb shelter would be no problem. When you hear people trying to pretend that they know all this stuff about Umar, people, it's a lie. There are people who have been supporting anti-fraud warriors and their affiliates for a long time. Before I even started doing Umar Johnson content, there were already people dead set, determined to hold Umar accountable. They just didn't have the infrastructure in place until anti-fraud warriors came up, and we weren't called anti-fraud warriors then, okay, and affiliates, because I'm including the people that are working very hard on YouTube as well. We came up with a plan. People can say anything they want about us. Fact of the matter is that we indeed have a plan to address the situation with Umar, and it has worked. We don't always agree on everything, but that doesn't matter. We're still a cohesive group. We're very patient. We recognize we have made progress, although people out there are trying to claim, well, you've been after Umar for how long? Well, guess what? We've made progress, and we're proud of the progress that we made. And I'm going to be very happy to come on and tell you all about the progress that we have made that has put a monkey wrench in Umar Johnson's intentions to continue to hijack our community. You would want to be in the situation Umar Johnson is in. I wouldn't want to be in Umar Johnson's situation. You have no idea how many people or how many agencies are onto Umar. The pandemic has given him a reprieve. So what does Umar Johnson do to keep this madness afloat? He engages in lying and deceit. And that's also a nasty, contagious condition that we see around here in these YouTube streets, as we put it, right? You have people out there making all kinds of claims about anti-fraud warriors and affiliates. And I still lay down the challenge. In the last 7+ years, you have never seen any anti-fraud warrior or affiliates business put on the street. You haven't seen it. So what? Somebody gets a picture that somebody gave to somebody. So what? Somebody sees a video of somebody's family. That's not personal business. Do you see how these people are being dragged publicly all across this Umar Johnson BS? People who were never authentic in their intentions. Just like Umar Johnson was never authentic. That's why they're so attracted to something that says Umar Johnson. They don't give a damn about Umar Johnson. They don't give a damn about the school, but they do have all these traits that you see here. The same traits that Umar Johnson has. That's what Umar Johnson attracts. It's like a magnet. And they have all these features about them, all of these characteristics about them, but they don't care anything about Umar. They don't care anything about a school. All they want to do is try to snatch a spotlight because they think that we believe we're in some sort of position. We're not thinking we're in any sort of position. We're doing what we set out to do, and we're not looking to put ourselves on a throne. You see Umar bigging up himself. It looks so ridiculous. It sounds so ridiculous. Just like you hear these other people out here bigging themselves up. Who has to big themselves up? I thought if you have a support system, your support system helps you gain momentum. Nobody can do anything on their own. But here you are, people assigning themselves, like Umar Johnson calls himself lots of things, a big papa and the prince of Pan-Africanism. He's self-assigning labels. That is not how it works. Did Beyonce come up with the beehive, or did the fans come up with the beehive? Did the supporters come up with the beehive? I'm just using her as an example. She didn't come up with that. They came up with it. That's an endearing term to show people support you. Do you have to have a name attached to your cause? No, absolutely not. But it looks very suspicious when you have these people running around. Oh, I just got a new page and I'm calling my people this. Who cares? I'm just pointing out how much it sounds like Umar. They are attracted to Umar's traits. They exhibit Umar's traits. That's where they get their power. They don't have their own identity. We will continue with our mission. We are going to bring you more and more Umar Johnson content because we have the information and the access to get you Umar Johnson content rather than making up lies about Umar and the people who are making sure he's going to be held accountable. You always know there's so much more to come. Buyer beware.